Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today is the weekly Patriots review and preview, plus the fantasy football waiver wire rankings and positional rankings. As you can see, Nora walking around in the background. So to start off with the Patriots, it's another disappointing loss. I know I said in the last video, which I also know was brought to my attention, that there was no sound, unfortunately, with last week's video. So hopefully this video finds you with some actual sound. I'll try to double check and make sure that that is there. It was there in the editing for the video, but unfortunately making it onto YouTube was a different story. For what reason, I don't know. YouTube seems to like to give me a hard time with things sometimes, and that's just another, just another mark in the story, I guess, another page in that book. So going back to the Patriots, I mean, I don't really know how to feel optimistic about this team at this point. I don't want to get into the, trading off pieces talk just yet, but you kind of have to think about that at a certain point. And this might have been the week, third straight loss, second straight loss at home. They're playing Buffalo. If they lose to the Bills this coming week, which is more likely, I think, more likely going into this week than it was the last 2 weeks. If you lose against them in the division, and if, let's say, Miami wins too on top of it, and you fall even further behind them, I think it's about time to start trading guys off that you don't think are going to be a part of this team for the future. Stephon Gilmore, there's rumors with the Chicago Bears for their first round pick. I would take that. Maybe Cam Newton if someone is looking for a quarterback, if their guy got injured. Maybe Dallas if they're not happy with what they've seen with the guys replacing Dak so far, or maybe even another team that could be looking for a backup quarterback, maybe an upgrade at a backup quarterback, and that's what they want to use Cam for. You could always maybe get like a mid-round pick for him or something, at least, at the very least for that. There's guys like Rex Burkhead, maybe even Sony Michel, finally get him out of here. I doubt they would trade James White, but he's definitely there. Edelman, if a team would like another receiver. So there's a lot of options. I really hope it doesn't come to that, but unfortunately it's starting to look like that. Like, if they lost these last 2 games in a different manner, maybe we're not having this conversation. Like, the defense looked good against the Broncos, obviously, or the red zone defense at least, and the offense looked really bad, but both sides of the football just didn't look good at all against San Francisco. So you didn't really see any improvement. In fact, the offense looked worse and the defense looked worse. So you saw some regression between both sides of the football. So it's a cause for concern for sure. So Buffalo is definitely a tough matchup. They get the Jets after, so it's whatever. But if they can beat the Bills, who, they've come back down to earth just a little bit. They played some tough teams, but we'll see how it goes. Obviously, I want to see the Patriots succeed, but I also want to see them succeed for the long term, not just the short term. So we can't really just bank on them somehow figuring it out this year, even with that extra playoff spot. But yeah, moving on to fantasy football. That was kind of a quick thing with the Patriots. I just don't feel like ranting about them. You know, it just feels like it's kind of like a waste. I don't really want to rant too much about them, but yeah, moving on. I'm gonna go with the waiver wire first, what I usually do. So again, it's an interesting fantasy football week with the waiver wire. Some guys are there, some guys might not be there, but I'm gonna say number one waiver wire pickup has to be Chase Edmonds with the injury to Kenyon Drake. Number two, it's a situation to monitor with Chris Carson, but right now Carlos Hyde, who's also kind of banged up too. So, I mean, if Chris Carson misses time and Hyde is just playing through an injury, then definitely pick up Carlos Hyde. Number three, Sterling Shepard after his comeback from injury. Number four, I'd go with Tevin Coleman just to see what he can end up doing, potential stash while Raheem Mostert is out. I know JaMychal Hasty, who is actually the next player on the list, he's showing up, but Tevin Coleman has the contract. He has the history with Kyle Shanahan, so I would definitely try to get your hands on him. Jalen Reagor, he's coming back from injury. Rashard Higgins with Odell Beckham out for the year. Michael Pirine, Gus Edwards, Curtis Samuel, Frank Gore still on there. Nelson Aguilar and Hunter Renfrow, along with Derek Carr. Daniel Jones, Corey Davis. Some of these guys are probably on like deep bench teams, but like it just seems like some of them are out there. Dallas Goedert, if someone didn't hang on to him. Baker Mayfield, Traquan Smith, just in case. Maybe Richard Rodgers, Lance Thomas. He's probably owned though. Scotty Miller with Chris Godwin out. J.D. McKissick, but he seems owned. Gabriel Davis, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Greg Ward. Yeah, it's top heavy. It's a top heavy waiver wire week, so nothing too crazy, but something to definitely keep your eye on. It's going to be an interesting night for sure, for some teams, at least in the fantasy football community. But yeah, moving on to positional rankings. Just trying to get through this video. Number one, Pat Mahomes against the Jets. Don't really need an explanation there. Number two, Aaron Rodgers against the Vikings. Number three, Tom Brady against the Giants. Number four, Russell Wilson against the 49ers. Number five, Ryan Tannehill against the Bengals. Number six, Lamar Jackson against the Steelers. Number seven, Carson Wentz against the Cowboys. Number 8, Josh Allen against the Patriots. Number 9, Justin Herbert with his breakout. He shouldn't be a waiver pickup, but he might be in some leagues. He's against the Broncos. And number 10, I'm going to go with, let's see, it's kind of a toss-up. Right now, after his last week, too, I'm going to go with Joe Burrow against the Titans. Moving on to running backs. Number 1, Derrick Henry against the Bengals. Number 2, Alvin Kamara against the Bears. Number 3, Kareem Hunt against the Raiders. Number 4, Dalvin Cook against the Packers. Number 5, Todd Gurley against the Panthers. Number 6, Josh Jacobs against the Browns. Number 7, Ezekiel Elliott against the Eagles. Number 8, Jonathan Taylor against the Lions. Number 9, go with Clyde Edwards-Helaire against the Jets. And number 10, if he's healthy, Aaron Jones against the Vikings. All right, receivers. Number 1, Devontae Adams against the Vikings. Number 2, Tyreek Hill against the Jets. Number 3, DK Metcalf against the 49ers. Number 4, Julio Jones against the Panthers. Number 5, A.J. Brown against the Bengals. Number 6, Calvin Ridley against the Panthers. Number 7, I'm going to go with Tyler Lockett against the 49ers. Number 8, Adam Thielen against the Packers. Number 9, Kenny Golladay against the Colts. And number 10, Keenan Allen against the Denver Broncos. Tight ends. Number 1, Travis Kelce against the Jets. Number 2, George Kittle against the Seahawks. Number 3, Mark Andrews against the Steelers. Number 4, Darren Waller against the Browns. Number 5, Hunter Henry against the Broncos. Number 6, Rob Gronkowski against the Giants. Number 7, Jared Cook against the Bears. Number 8, Jonnu Smith against the Bengals. Number 9, TJ Hawkinson against the Colts. And number 10, I'm going to go with Robert Tonyan against the Vikings. Kickers. Number 1, Harrison Butker. Number 2, Justin Tucker. Number 3, Rodrigo Blankenship. Number 4, Matt Prater. Number 5, Younghoe Koo. Number 6, Mason Crosby. Number 7, Will Lutz. Number 8, Joey Sly. Number 9, Jake Elliott. And number 10, Tyler Bass. Defense and special teams. Number 1, Kansas City defense and special teams. Number 2, Tampa Bay. Number 3, Philly. Number 4, LA Rams. Number 5, LA Chargers. Number 6, Baltimore Ravens. Number 7, Indianapolis Colts. Number 8, Buffalo Bills. Number 9, Pittsburgh Steelers. And number 10, the New Orleans Saints. So thank you all for watching. I really appreciate the patience, and I want to thank everyone that mentioned to me about last week's video with no sound. Like I said, hopefully this one actually makes it out there to people to watch. Well, not only watch, but listen. And again, thank you all for the support, just like I say every video. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate that, because there's more videos to come. This is definitely the weekly video, most common at this point in the year with everything going on in sports, or so little going on in sports, as I should say. But thank you all again, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, Nora.